So during his World Series run with the Diamondbacks, former Mets outfielder Tommy Pham had a lot to say regarding his time in Queens. Back in September, Pham was asked about the Mets' stagnant clubhouse in 2023, explaining that he told Mets shortstop Francisco Lindor that out of all the teams I have played on, this is one of the least hardest working teams of groups of position players I've ever played with. As Arizona advanced to the World Series, Pham did not stop there. While comparing the Mets to the Diamondbacks, he said that the Mets are more talented than the Diamondbacks. What makes this team different, everyone is trying to reach their max potential. That drive wasn't there. That drive is here. It's what separates this team from most teams. You have guys that are trying to get better every single day. I do feel like there's a level of expectations and preparation and work ethic going into the game. And I was very honest. I just didn't feel it being met as a whole. I didn't call anyone out. If anyone disagrees with me over there, you got to take a long look in the mirror and be honest. Be a very honest self-evaluator. Sometimes on paper, it just doesn't get put together like you envision it. But I don't see that team struggling for long. There's guys over there that are hungry, and you have an owner that cares about winning. Back in August, the Mets traded the 35-year-old Tommy Pham to the Diamondbacks in exchange for 17-year-old prospect Jeremy Rodriguez at this year's trade deadline.
I don't understand what his obsession is with constantly just bashing the Mets. I mean, I really don't know why he feels the need to, on multiple occasions, go out of his way or just bring them up and just about all the things that are wrong with them and how everybody else is the problem. Tommy Pham, as I said when the Mets got him, is a guy who has bounced around from team to team to team, constantly changing teams. And everywhere he goes, he has issues. He's had plenty of issues we saw with the Padres. Nobody ever wants to keep this guy around. And, if he's a guy that has this talent, then why don't teams want to keep him? It's because of stuff like this. It's because of the personality and the way he rubs certain people with the things that he says. And I just think that he's played on so many teams. Why, of all the teams, is the Mets the one that he feels like he has to constantly keep going after? So to me, it's just that I don't understand why he feels the need to keep doing this. And I think that he just makes it harder on himself for another team to want to pick him up just because they know that, okay, yes, he may do some things. He had another big year finally after being, not being good the past few years ever since, he left Tampa Bay. And it's just that it makes it hard for other teams to want to bring this guy in when they know that they also have to bring in this personality that comes along with him as well.
Hey, Tommy, you need a spot on a podcast. You'd fit this podcast perfectly because he's calling the Mets how it is. He's right. This was a more talented team compared to the Diamondbacks. Yes, the Diamondbacks they play better baseball because they play with dog in them. The Mets have a bunch of prima donnas with no dog. The Diamondbacks won how many games? 72 games last year? The Mets, again, were a playoff. Yeah, Mets were a playoff team. 100 wins, right? 101 or whatever the hell it was. The difference is the mentality. Yes, you can have all the talent in the world. If you ain't got the effort, you ain't got the work to drive to get better, you get exposed by teams that want to do that. So, yeah, is it a great look for Tommy to keep just every 2 days as another quote shitting on the Mets, like Frank said? Probably not the greatest for his future financial decision, but I love it because it's true. There's a standard that should be set. At this payroll, the talent in that roster should be good. And if it's trying to show that this team is, again, this is the highest payroll in baseball. It's supposed to be, again, 101 win team. They got exposed because, oh, no, it's okay getting all my money, And Tommy Pham, again, a journeyman old man bum. The last couple of years has been a bum. We're all pissed when he signed him. But he's going and looking at it and just looking at like, this is what money can buy you? Just a bunch of lazy non-workers?
The worst team money can buy.
Again, he ain't wrong. Is it, great? No. Is it great for the Mets image? No. But again, hey, wake up call, assholes. If you want it, go get it. It's not given to you. Just because there's a big amount of money next to your name does not mean you got shit. You got to work your ass off to get what you want. That's what the Diamondbacks did. Again, the guy below me called me a dumbass saying the Diamondbacks were going to be a decent team last year. Are they the greatest team on earth? No. They finished second place in their division.
17 games out.
17 games out, exactly. Second place in the division. Nobody gave a shot against the Brewers. They whooped the Brewers' ass. And the Brewers more talented. Swept them. Yeah. Went to LA. Definitely more talented. Swept their ass. Then went to Philly. and won 2 big win or go home games in fucking Philly. You know how much dog you gotta have to win games in a fucking wild Philadelphia crowd? Yes, the Mets obviously play well fully, but it's all about just caring and emotion. Which we've made. How many years have we said this team shows no fucking emotion? It's like, man, started with the manager, started with the players. That's Jeff McNeil bitching and complaining every time it's a ground ball to second base. There's no fucking drive. There's no dog. It's just, well, he's a good player. At the end of the year, he's gonna have decent numbers. And true, a lot of these guys at the end of the year had decent numbers, but like they're just, oh, okay, they just get to it. Oh, 270 batting average, whatever. 112 WRC plus, okay. But there's no fucking drive. There's no good. And that's what I kind of liked about Tommy Pham. And hey, he's saying it. Like, I want this team to be good. I'm trying to tell you, get your head out of your ass and you can be good.
I've been waiting for an Andrew rant like that for a long time. That's the fire I fucking need, man. The power of Antonio Pierce. Yes. Go off. I've already said this multiple times, I think, at this point. No, he's completely right. And I think that he had every single right to say this because he was one of the few guys who actually performed. I mean, he performed above expectations. Obviously, we brought this guy on in a one-year deal to be a possible fourth outfielder. He also, he said while he was here, he played with a chip on his shoulder. He said, they said I can't hit right-handed pitching. Let's just hit right-handed pitching then. Let's solve that problem. He has the drive to continue and get better, even though he's 35 years old, older than most of the guys in that clubhouse. And he had every single right to say something like this. Now, listen, is it the right thing to do when you're eventually going to be a free agent? And he is a free agent, in 48 hours or whatever. Is it the right thing to do? No, but to be honest, I'm glad for the Mets' sake he opened his mouth and said this. Because we've all been feeling it. We've all been feeling it. The fact that it comes in from an outside source that you brought in here just for 1 year. I mean, this guy was here for what? 4 months? 5 months? If you look from the inside, I mean, they never say, they're never honest. None of these guys are 100% honest and keep it like they say what is actually on their mind. They need somebody like that in Tommy Pham to do it. And if that is something that pushes them to go forward as an organization, hopefully, I hope it does. I hope they take it completely personally. I hope they go full on Michael Jordan. I took that shit personally. I hope they do. All I can say about Tommy Pham is that if he wasn't hitting well for the Mets, he probably did not have any right to say something like this. And that's why it kind of rubbed the wrong way with, Verlander supposedly talking about our analytics department being sucky. And then, Scherzer kind of just shifting the blame off of himself. I mean, that's a different story. But Tommy Pham played his ass off. He obviously worked his ass off, like he said. And I mean, it also translated to when he went to Arizona. I mean, he was a big contributor on their playoff run as well. So I also like the fact that he also pushed a few more buttons by saying like, oh, well, you have an owner that cares about winning and hey, I'm a free agent. I'm available. He's saying stuff like that where, if you want to see how a hard worker does, then, bring me back. I'll do it for you. I mean, I'd love to see Tommy Pham as a manager one day. Why not? I mean, he just kicked people's asses. That'd be awesome. That's the type of personality you need in New York. Perfectly sets what they needed. And hopefully it's just a kick in the dick and they realize that this is something that they really need. And they need to get their fucking act together because let's not forget a near $400 million payroll, 75 wins out of it. There's not really much you can pick out of it and say, oh, this is a bright spot. This is something that we got to do next year. There's not much that we did this year that I want to do next year. I don't blame Tommy Pham for saying any of this.